Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 22 with me, Dan, and the BMW Slothz team as we enter negotiations with our teammate. Hopefully he will decline and move to another team, giving us the championship at the end of the season. Unfortunately not. He has decided to sign another 6 months or so, which means that we will have to battle him all the way to the end as we come to quite possibly one of my least favourite races these days, Austria. One of my favourites on F1 2021 back in the day, and for some reason I think it might be the handling model of these cars. I just cannot drive fast around this circuit anymore, and I think part of it is the traction issues out of some of the corners. And also some of the sausage curves that were added in as well are in such awkward positions that I can't help but find myself straddling them all too often. That was not a giggity goo moment. Anyway, on to practice 2, because there's only 2 practice sessions in this race. We're struggling to find something to do, but we're going to have to risk a 25% success one. No, we did not get it. So then, on to Austria. The sprint race is coming up first, and like I said, this is a very good race for me, having previously liked it quite a lot and done fairly well here in the past. Unfortunately, since 2022, it's been a lot harder. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell, because there's F1 23 content coming up in about 3 weeks. So you don't want to miss out on that at all. Absolutely not. And now we'll get on to the starting grid for Austria. And on the front row, we have Lando Norris. What a surprise. And he's alongside the home favourite Max Verstappen. Red Bull will be wanting to do well here. They're followed by Robert Schwartzman and Fernando Alonso, but not in that order. Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez. Lance Stroll, and then we're in P8. Followed by Carlos Sainz and George Russell rounds at the top 10. Then we have Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly, Oscar Piastri and Teo Pourchaire, who's moved to Mercedes. Liam Lawson, who's dropped to Alfa Romeo, and Kevin Magnussen. Dan Ticktum and Yuki Tsunoda. Alex Albon and Mick Schumacher. And then finally it's Zhou Guanyu and Nicholas Latifi, because who else would be at the back of the field? So some changes up and down the drivers, but it's race time now. Right then, so as per usual, we'll just be hoping for a safety car and some cars in front of us to crash to push us up the order. We're away in Austria, already losing the place to Carlos Sainz. As we go down into turn 1, we've got an AlphaTauri there as we crash into Carlos Sainz, lock it up into turn 1. Perez looking a little bit out of shape there as Lance Stroll is challenging him into turn 3. As we come down towards the braking zone, Sergio Perez forgets the brake and he hits Fernando Alonso there. There's a piece of end plate that just came off. I don't know who that's from. Lance Stroll running over the curb there. Apparently we hit Gasly and Zhou Guanyu is out of the session. That has deployed the virtual safety car. Now a full safety car as well. And that isn't ideal whatsoever. We've only got 6 races, 6 laps. And now a few of them are going to be taken up by a safety car. Let's see what happened here with Verstappen. We've actually gained the lead. He switches places with Norris, forces him to the inside, and then just goes around the outside there into turn 1. Given that they were at the front, they avoided all the action. This was Perez into the braking zone, forgets to stop, hits both McLarens, and I think it might have been his end plate which came off during that collision. And this is Zhou Guanyu crashing straight into the back of a Williams and losing his front wing and front wheel. Excellent job. That's actually the second race that I've recorded today where an Aston Martin has just gone crashing into the back of someone in front of them. I mean, usually it's someone else as well, but I'm looking at you, Williams. Restart time on lap 4. So we've got half the sprint to go, and well, that's it. Yeah, half the sprint. Not much has gone on with that safety car, but here we go. Maybe we can change that with Lance Stroll up ahead. He is pulling away because we are missing a few of the supplier power unit upgrades, which is causing some problems as we go through turn 3. Stroll up the inside of Leclerc. Can he crash into him? I really hope he does, because that'll be another free position for us. Coming into the hairpin now. Stroll down the inside. There's Leclerc. There is contact. And another end plate came off there. That time from Charles Leclerc. But it looks things I could just about see it. Leclerc all over the place. Refusing to allow us past, even though he is missing part of his front wing. We've got Carlos Sainz now challenging us for a position. So we have to leave a little bit of space for him just in case he hits us as well. And, well, I'm not really surprised to see Lance Stroll involved in an incident. But Charles Leclerc doesn't usually get too tangled up. Let's have a look at what's going on in a minute. Verstappen has still retained the lead. This is Stroll's onboard. Coming down into the hairpin. Basically was not his fault, I'd say. That was very much a Leclerc issue. Yeah, that's... I don't know what he was thinking there, but I'm assuming he was hoping that the Alpine would just vanish into the shadow realm and that he could just take whatever line he pleased. Didn't work that way, though. And now we come on to the final lap. We've got Carlos Sainz behind us, who for some reason has not deployed DRS yet. That's probably because we had a full safety car and I'm an idiot, so he's only going to get DRS now. More than likely, that's actually helped us quite nicely during this race. We've already gained 2 positions, and 2 of the faster cars are well behind us now. A little bit out of shape there coming through turn 3. Carlos Sainz already having a little bit of a look around, seeing if he can find a way past. He's going to try into the hairpin. We take a defensive line, force him to the outside, and that is the end of that for Carlos Sainz. Will he close up? There's another opportunity before the pit entrance. So if he's got the straight line speed and a bit of cornering ability, he might be able to close up there. But it looks as though we're extending the gap very, very slightly. And yeah, it doesn't look as though he's managed to close up significantly enough as we come around the penultimate corner into the final corner. And we will cross the line behind Lance Stroll up 2 places into P6. Not a bad result there. We've definitely started in worse positions here and finished in a lot worse positions as well. Driver of the day goes to Max Verstappen because that's not biased whatsoever at the Red Bull ring, and for some reason someone's going really slow up ahead. There's the race results for the sprint. You can see that we've got a bit of work to do to catch up to Norris, but now it's on to the main event in Austria. So then, we've had a few incidents on track between a few drivers and also a safety car deployed, which I think it is a good omen for this race, because if we can get 1 or 2 of those to happen, then we're going to be sitting quite tidily, and hopefully, we haven't seen it at all in F1 22, but there was the F1 2021 issue, where cars coming into the pit lane would be crashed into frequently. Maybe we can get that to happen today. Anyway, once again, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell as well, so you know how the championship is progressing as you catch up with all of the latest races that are uploaded here on the channel. And also don't forget to check out the Clips channel as well, because it's very popular at the moment apparently. Anyway, on to the starting grid then, and we'll see if there's any penalties, but Max Verstappen starts ahead of Lando Norris going into this Grand Prix, and we will look further down the order at where everyone else will be starting from as well. Robert Schwartzman is now ahead of his teammate Fernando Alonso. Then Lance Stroll and us sit on the 3rd row. Then we have Carlos Sainz and Esteban Ocon, followed by George Russell and his new teammate Théo Pourchaire. Liam Lawson and Kevin Magnussen in 11th and 12th. Alex Albon alongside Yuki Tsunoda. Then we have Sergio Perez and Pierre Gasly, Dan Tixon and Oscar Piastri. Charles Leclerc and Joe Guanyu, and on the back row we have Nicholas Latifi and Mick Schumacher, who somehow still ended up at the back despite the fact that Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez both got involved in incidents in the previous race, because they just couldn't have this win just once, could they? Dan Tixon as well with a penalty, which presumably punched somebody or drove into them in Parc Fermé. There's the Drivers' Championship there, about 37 points behind. I think I only saw it briefly. So we've got a bit of work to do here. And Alex Albon as well, who starts in P14, has a bit of work as well to stay there. Right then, P6 is the benchmark. Can we finish on the podium? Can we actually win in Austria? That is the question that we have. As we get away, Carlos Sainz is challenging us once again into turn 1. This time, he locks up and we go around down the inside. But we've got issues up ahead. We've got Alonso, Stroll and Schwartzman having a bit of a battle here. Schwartzman causing trouble on the medium tyre. And we're going to be sandwiched between the Alpine and the McLaren into turn 3. Alonso late on the brakes. It nearly hits his teammate there. And we get up the inside of Lance Stroll. We've actually gained a position unbelievably here in Austria. Yellow flags are behind us, I think, but everyone seems to have gotten through as Alonso now battles his teammate into turn 4. He hits him. Clearly not happy that the team didn't just let him through, considering they're clearly on different strategies. Schwartzman just doesn't want to let Alonso pass at all, and it's costing the pair of them now as we close right up to the back of the McLaren. Some great advertisement for Google Chrome there as we follow him into the penultimate and the final corner. Stroll's not really a threat right now. And we come through. Alonso is almost certainly going to drive off into the distance. And we got a Mercedes coming into the pit lane and a bit of a yellow flag in the final sector as well. Maybe someone hit him. We got a slow-moving AlphaTauri again. Yuki Tsunoda is out of the session. Another retirement for AlphaTauri, but maybe not a retirement here as Schwartzman goes defensive. He goes to the outside of Schwartzman. Oh, he's locked up on entry. That's not what you want on the medium tyre. And we get around the outside and retake. Well, I say retake. We've claimed back a bit of glory here. At Austria, this is on board with Schwartzman. Wow, just turned in full lock on the right whilst driving on the brakes. And somehow didn't lose the position to Stroll either. Or Sainz it is now who managed to get past Stroll at some stage. Into the pits we go. No crashes there, as we like to see. And it appears as though Verstappen and Alonso have decided to come in as well. Théo Pourchaire, the Mercedes who crashed earlier on and presumably resulted in damage, which forced him into the pits at the end of lap 1. Not a great debut for Mercedes, but at least he did okay in the sprint race. So he had something to be happy about. We come out now, P15. Can we do anything to catch Lando Norris? Or even just Verstappen and Alonso would be nice. We come round the final couple of corners. Lando Norris has just exited the pit lane and is now going up the hill behind Liam Lawson. We're coming through turn 1. Not great, but we got Mick Schumacher up ahead, who has very kindly allowed us to get a tow with the DRS. We're going to go to the outside. For some reason, he's decided to fight this. He's disappeared. I think he was about to cut the corner for a second, but he didn't, so whatever. We're already over half a second away from him. That Aston Martin is god-awful. Anyway, this is another backmarker overtake. Alex Albon up ahead. What can we do here to get past? Exactly that. We just go much tighter line, and we are straight past him as well. But he is still in the top 10, which isn't bad. I'm not sure what tyre he started on, though. So it could prove to be a bit of a lost cause. But yes, uneventful as usual here in Austria after the first maybe round of pit stops. I say first round of pit stops, the only round of pit stops on 25% distance. Hopefully that'll be changing next season to 35. But Robert Schwartzman started on the medium. Where does he come out? Well, it's definitely behind us because I just saw us drive past. And is he going to come out behind Carlos Sainz? I think he does, but we jump on board with Alonso now. He's followed Verstappen for the entire Grand Prix. We've still got a third distance to go, but he's going to go around the outside. He crashes into him, knocking his front wheel, saying, why don't you turn right as you go through here? And he comes round. Is he going to go the outside here? He's slightly ahead. Verstappen doesn't challenge too hard. Lovely rotation, though, from Alonso on the rear of his car there. If you didn't see that, go back and have a look again because it was amazing. But there he goes. He's passed in the Mercedes, which they've just painted orange. And he's up into P2. And we rejoin on lap 18 because, yes, it's that eventful once again here in Austria. Absolutely nothing has happened. And we're now sitting 6.5 seconds behind Max Verstappen. Alonso and Verstappen 6.5 seconds behind Lando Norris, which is just absolutely disgusting. So we come through turn 3, run slightly wide actually over the sausage curb. And that closed up Carlos Sainz, so deja vu moments. Same corner, we had an issue. Same driver, hoping to capitalise. He manoeuvres to the outside, and we run him wide again. I would have hoped he would have learnt from the last time we came round here on the final lap in the sprint race, but apparently he is not, and he still wants to challenge for a couple of extra points. But not today, and he drops back quite significantly actually, so I don't think he's going to be much of a threat here unless we actually blow ourselves up going into the final corners. No, we don't, and we come round. We're going to cross the line a million minutes behind Lando Norris. And, well, I think, if anything, the main takeaway is we're replacing the damn power unit, or some of them, after this race, because if you were looking at the onboard shots through some of that, oh my god, it was all red. Mostly just random components which haven't received their tier 2 or 3 upgrade yet. So they'll be the focus as we go forward. There's Lando Norris and Verstappen celebrating, although no sign of Alonso. There he is on the podium already, getting into position. At least he doesn't have to worry about coming second in another championship this year, as McLaren didn't start off the season too well. And BMW have won every race, so it doesn't really matter what Alonso does, but maybe he can get up to P3, who knows. And here we are with the full results of the race weekend. You can see Lando Norris picks up quite a lot of points there, 33, which extends his lead quite significantly over us overall. Everyone all the way back to Liam Lawson, who picked up 1 point in the race, was able to score here in Austria. So over to the Drivers' Championship we go, and Lando Norris extends his lead to 51 points now over us in the P2. Behind us we have Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Sergio Perez, Robert Schwartzman, Carlos Sainz, George Russell and Liam Lawson make up the top 10. Behind them we have Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, Yuki Tsunoda and Alex Albon as the point scorers, followed by Nicolas Latifi, Teo Pourchaire, Zhou Guanyu, Oscar Piastri, Mick Schumacher and Dan Tickton. Finally, over to the constructors. We're almost at 350 points there at the top of the table, ahead of Red Bull, then Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Alpine, AlphaTauri, Haas, Williams, Alfa Romeo / Audi now with 1 point, leaving the one remaining team with 0 as Aston Martin. And that's all for this race. We'll catch you next time in France.